The BSC F68BH finger rack flat car was introduced in 1969 by the Bethlehem Steel Corporation in their new generation of high-capacity flat cars. The flat cars were extremely versatile, and the basic design could be utilized for a variety of applications. They featured steel decks, traverse deck risers, McLean Frog traverse tie-down apparatuses, and a set of distinct upright finger racks near the end of the cars. 150 of these cars were built between December 1969 and February 1970. Initial assignments for these cars included rebar service out of Bethlehem Steel's Steelton, Pennsylvania facility, where they could be seen hauling rebar nationwide. ScaleTrains announced this car in October 2019, and dealers took delivery in August 2020. In this video, we'll take a look at one of the 1991 Speed logo paint schemes. Over at the end of the car, it does have the level of detail we've come to expect from the ScaleTrains rivet counter line. We do have drop-style grab irons, finely done in brass wire. Molded on draft box. We do have the coupler cut lever bar, as well as the coupler cut lever bracket. We do have a long shank scale metal coupler, as well as the train line air hose, painted in black with the silver tip, and that snakes around, comes back out, where you can see it here before it runs down the underside of the car. The B end of the car is extremely similar to the A end, with the exception of the brake wheel, separately applied, as well as the brake wheel shaft and the brake wheel bracket over here. Moving down the side of the car, we do have the drop style grab irons over here as well, along with the stirrup step and the roping loop, all separately applied. You will have a better chance to take a look at the tie down chain holders up here on the top actual car body, as well as the side chain holders. We do have the jacking pad right here as well, in that early H style. Looking down at the side of the truck, we do have the 100-ton hydraulic snubber trucks. So you can see here one of the hydraulic snubbers, and this is found on this corner and what would be this other corner on the opposite end. Moving down, we do have the actual finger racks with the tops painted in a different color, this one being white. We do have the TTX style yellow paint with the black outline. And we do have the road name and number done in white. Looks like this white is painted over the black, and it looks actually very nicely done, even though it's usually a pretty difficult paint job, without having some of the white paint kind of bleed. We do have more of the load limits. And we do have this TTX logo, as well as the actual car make and model. And then we do have the data sheet, as well as another jacking pad, roping loop, drop style grab iron, and another stirrup step. Looking at the top of the car, I wanted to point out two things that I think ScaleTrains did a really nice job on, and one of the things you can't really see unless you're really up on the car. And that thing is, if you look right into these chain holders, you can see how some of them have little teeth. So they're going all this direction, and then on this lower side, it's all going this direction. It's to better hold down some of the loads and some of the straps for the rebar loads. So you can see, just barely, it does have a few little teeth, and they're really hard to see, and you have to really get close on the car to actually see it. As well as on these side chain holders, the actual little holes are all perforated, and you can see through the actual car body. I think ScaleTrains did a really nice job on this. Underneath the car, we got a lot of great detail that you normally don't see. We do have the train line air hose as it snakes through, goes down to the other end of the car. Have a better look at the trucks with the rotating bearing caps. We do have the alpha brake end assembly, as well as the control valve going to the air reservoir and the actual piston. Moving down, we do have the reduction valve, as well as more as the Bravo brake brackets. Moving down, and then this goes over to the actual other train line. One of the other details I thought was really neat is they do have the road name and number printed on the center sill of the actual car, so you can just barely see it right there. You normally would not see that while the car is rolling down the tracks. This freight car is 9.5 inches long, so per the NMRA, it should weigh 5.75 ounces. Quickly throw it on the scale. 4.05 ounces. and it's 115 grams. Next, we are going to take a look at the scoring. We're going to throw up the rubric. First off is the packaging. Overall, pretty good, pretty standard packaging for ScaleTrains. For the accuracy, I actually did find a picture of the actual car of the review model, and overall it looked pretty good. I didn't find any discrepancies or any issues with that. For the paint and printing, was really nicely done as well. The paint was crisp, no voids, no blurred lines. Overall, they did a really good job on that, especially on the road name and number where they have the white printed over the black. Usually that's a pretty big issue for some of the other companies, but they did a really nice job on it. Details, overall, very nicely detailed, large number of separately applied parts, and I don't think I could find any parts that I would add to this car or upgrade. For the couplers, trucks, and wheels, overall had the model specific with those hydraulic snubbers on the opposite corners of the cars. They had the metal wheels, and the one coupler on the A end was low. The B was slightly low, but it was still relatively close, so I didn't take a point, just took the 1 point for the A end coupler being low. For the operations of the car, I took the model around the track a few times. I didn't have any issues with it. None of the detailed parts snagged, which is usually an issue on these very nicely detailed cars. The model is a little bit underweight, and it's going to be very difficult to add weight if you don't have a rebar load on the actual car, so I did take away 1 point for that. Value, I really think this is a good value car. It's quite a lot of money. It's in that elite category, but overall the details and the actual execution of the car is very nicely done. And miscellaneous, nothing to add. Really, it's just a very nice car overall, and it's a very great product from ScaleTrains once again. So when you add all that up, you get a 98 out of 100, taking away the 2 points for the low couplers and just the operations of the car. Overall, that is a 98 out of 100, and that puts it actually at the top of the list for the cars I've looked at this year. So really nice job by ScaleTrains, just putting out really great products, and I don't think anyone's going to have any issues with this car, and just a really nice job overall. And just some final thoughts. ScaleTrains has done a really nice job with this project. There's one thing to actually say you're going to go out and build a really nice freight car model, and then there's another thing to actually go and do it and execute it well, and ScaleTrains is doing both of those at a very high level right now, and they're just producing some really nice stuff and really flooding the market with really great models for us modelers to actually buy and to have run on our layouts. I also really like that ScaleTrains is going out and producing kind of these niche models and something that's a little bit more unique. Like I said earlier in the video, only 150 of these cars were ever made, so ScaleTrains is definitely the #1 producer of finger racks in the whole country just by producing these models. And also, this car does give us a glimpse into the future because this car does share the same car body as the other car they are producing, which is the Bethlehem Steel Corporation F68BH, which is their standard 68-foot flat car with no finger racks and more of just your standard wood deck flat car. So that's all I got for you guys right now. Tell me what you guys think about this model, if you guys are going to pick it up, whether you're going to pick it up and make some rebar loads. I'm really excited to see what you guys will all be able to produce and what you guys will be able to model, so I'm really excited about that. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys with a few run-by shots. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.